There was more than just eloping to a beautiful place for the reason that we went to Italy and the reason that we decided to have a month-long honeymoon there. We didn't tell many people this, but we were scouting out Italy to see if we wanted to move there and relocate abroad. Welcome to 3-Day Workweeks for Millennial Entrepreneurs, the show where we explore how the magic of systems can help you achieve a well-rounded life and business. It's time to work smarter, not harder, and ditch that hustle harder lifestyle. Make sure to check out the show notes to learn more about our signature program, Smarter Not Harder, 3-Day Workweeks for Millennial Entrepreneurs. And here's the show. Welcome back to another episode of the 3-Day Workweeks Podcast. I'm happy you're here. We have some exciting news. We're moving. This has been a long time in the making, and I'm excited that all the pieces are falling into place and we can finally share. So John and I have decided that we are going to be moving to Tampa-St. Pete area of Florida, which is South Florida on the Gulf side. And we have not exactly figured out where we're going to be living yet, so that's in progress. But we're really, really excited to start this new adventure and live somewhere new that is a place that we've both chosen that just really worked for us. So I'll tell you a little bit of backstory and then we'll get to what we're up to. This has been a long time in the making. Since John and I have been together for nearly 3 years now, and we're coming up on our 1-year wedding anniversary, which is really exciting. If you guys remember, we decided to elope in Italy, and there was more than just eloping to a beautiful place for the reason that we went to Italy and the reason that we decided to have a month-long honeymoon there. We didn't tell many people this, but we were scouting out Italy to see if we wanted to move there and relocate abroad. That was our kind of game plan. We were pretty much sold on it. We had some family friends that offered to let us stay in their home over there. They were in the same process of getting their visas to move to Italy, and it didn't end up working out for them to move to Italy, but we got a good taste of some of the touristy, but a lot of the less touristy areas. And really, the reason that we were interested in potentially moving abroad was for several reasons. We know that eventually we want to have a family, have children, and it was really important to us that we had community, walkability. We really liked those elements about Europe and the ability to be closer to people, to actually live in a walkable distance where you knew your neighbors and people wanted to talk to each other. It wasn't so fast-paced lifestyle, kind of the mix of the good things about living in a big city and a small town. We liked that community feel where people aren't rushing too much, but they're not so far apart that they don't know each other or you're always in a car like the suburbs. We also really loved the food. We love the idea of having really clean, healthy food as the standard. That's something that you'll find in Europe a lot more than in the US. That's kind of tough when it comes to sourcing truly clean and healthy food. That is a tangent that we could go down quite a rabbit hole on, but that's not for today. So those were some things that we liked about it. We also liked being able to be in a hub where we could travel to a lot of different places really easily. And our thought was, we'll just get a place in Italy and then travel all around Europe because you can by train and plane so easily, and other parts of the world as well. It's just very central. We liked just a different way of looking at the world where work isn't the defining factor of who you are as a person. And then the school systems, so having access to free education or very affordable education was really appealing to us, and having more of like a worldly view for our future children. So all of those things were really attractive to us about Europe and Italy specifically. And when we went, we had a ball. It was so much fun, but we didn't quite feel that thing in our heart, the ping, the connection that was like, oh my gosh, we have to be here. And I knew that was such a big move to another country, and just logistically quite a feat. So we really needed to be 1,000% sold on it. And so we came back from our honeymoon and we were like, wow, that was such a great experience. Vacationing for a month is a long time to be away. And I don't think that we would do that again for 4 whole weeks in that way that we did, because it's exhausting to keep packing up and moving every single night, or not every night. What we learned was 3 nights is what we need for something to feel like a true vacation and getaway. So even in the States, no matter where we go now, we try our best to have 3 whole nights at wherever we're staying. It doesn't matter as much about how much time we have during the day, whether it ends up being 3 nights and 3 days or 3 nights, 4 days, doesn't really matter. The not having to pack up after 2 nights is really nice and makes it a lot more of an enjoyable experience. So while Italy had a lot of the things that we wanted, it wasn't quite perfect, and nowhere's going to be perfect. But for where we're at in our lives, we just weren't really seeing how it would play out at this time to move to another country, start a family, all those things. So we just kind of had to be patient and go back to the drawing board, but just not even really think too strongly about it. I think it became clear after we got back from our honeymoon that we really love our businesses. So John and I run Heartbeat Safety, which is a safety business that gives you the tools and the training to save a life. We love that business. We're very passionate about it. It's John's baby. He's done safety training for his entire life, and that's something that we wanted to continue. We've worked really hard to build that business up over the last 3 years, and we wanted to continue that. I love doing my consulting for businesses on their systems and their organization. That's something that I can do from anywhere. But something that we were missing in the thought of completely uprooting our lives and moving abroad is that community aspect. We talked about multiple places. I'm from Savannah, Georgia. My mom and stepdad live there. My dad lives in Atlanta. I was born there and lived there for a little while after college. We both knew that those were options, but they didn't call to us all that much. It just didn't tick the rest of the boxes for us. John has a background in financial advising, and we had an investment firm reach out about a position that was in Tampa, and we hadn't really considered Tampa. It wasn't something that had crossed our minds, but when this opportunity came up, we decided not to move forward with the opportunity itself, but we started to set our sights on Tampa-St. Pete area and started to fall in love with it. And we were like, wow, this really checks a lot of our boxes. It's still on the Gulf of Mexico, which was important to me. The St. Pete area is a very walkable, community-centered place. There's a lot more access to a lot more things since Tampa is right there. We have direct flights from Tampa to almost anywhere that are pretty affordable, and so that allows us to travel a lot easier. And then it's also closer to our family. It's a longer drive from Atlanta than Atlanta to Pensacola. It is a very easy direct flight. And then it's a shorter drive to Savannah. And then John's mom lives in Boca Raton, and it's a much shorter drive to her. And we've already been doing some business in the South Florida area, which is quite a haul from Pensacola. And so it all just started to feel like the right move. John has a background in safety training, and he also has a background in elite swim coaching. And it just so happened that one of his friends that he used to coach with back in the day had an opening for a part-time swim coach. And he was like, you come work with me part-time. They gave us an offer we couldn't refuse. We are also getting plugged into the community to promote heartbeat safety at the same time. So we're not starting from scratch as far as community goes and building up our business. I have so many friends that have lived in the Tampa-St. Pete area, and they absolutely rave about it. It's funny. They all joke that, like, if they didn't have family somewhere else, that they would be still living there. So that always piqued my interest of, like, what is this place? And so when John and I went to visit, we both had this, like, peaceful knowing that this is the place that is what's next for us. We feel really excited, and it's a whole new chapter. Pensacola has been so good to us, and it's where we met, it's where we fell in love, and it's where we got married at the courthouse, which our anniversary of that is coming up really soon. I really, really love Pensacola. It's such a special place, but we're really excited to expand Heartbeat Safety to another location, so we'll be keeping our Pensacola location, and then we'll be expanding into the Tampa-St. Pete area. I'm excited to have community of, like, just more access to more things. We kind of get the benefit of the city with the vibe of chill, beachy town. And I'm just really excited, like, lots of yoga studios, lots of Pilates studios. Can actually go to Whole Foods and get little frozen croissants and cookie dough, whatever. Those are the silly things that I'm excited about. Trader Joe's, flowers, to one of my favorite hobbies is floral arranging. And so I'm excited to just have access to more things, just to have options. The entrepreneurial community, I'm excited to get into that and get to know people and be with even more people that are doing really cool things, to feel inspired and grow Kate Waldo & Co. and meet new people. If any of you guys are down there that listen to this, reach out to me. I'd love to meet you in real life. Maybe we can do, like, meetups, that kind of thing. Pensacola is so, like, off the beaten path in a lot of ways. You have to really be intentionally going to Pensacola to get there. But I feel like a lot more things happen down in the Tampa area. So I am really excited. I know that it kind of seemed like really fast when we set our sights on the Tampa-St. Pete area. It just all started to fall into place. It just happened really quickly, but John and I knew this is what's right for us and this is our next step. And also, life is short. We've kind of been living like retirees in the best way here in Pensacola. And so we're ready for a little bit of excitement, access to lots of concerts and comedy shows, different events and sporting events and all sorts of stuff like that. Really, really excited for that. Looking toward the future, eventually having children. Not pregnant. Don't ask me. That's not happening anytime soon. But we're just planning ahead. Potentially maybe getting our parents to move closer to us, to be in the area. I've been in Pensacola going on 5 years. And this is the longest I've lived in the same place, in the same home, since I was like 10 years old, which is really crazy. But I'm very excited for our new adventure. We don't even have a place to live yet, but we're going to figure it out. I'm just believing that, like everything else has fallen into place, that will too. I will get down there the end of August. John is already there, and I'm wrapping up some things up here, and then we start our new adventure. So I wanted to share this with you guys because you guys seem to care about the personal things too, and I'm excited for what that means for Kate Waldo & Co., for growth and expansion and new inspiration and all those things. So follow along on Instagram because I'll be sharing more when I'm not buried in logistics Olympics, as I've been calling it, trying to figure out all these details. But it's really exciting. Might take a pause from the podcast. This one's, if you watch on YouTube, you will have already noticed that this is audio only, but we'll see. I really love doing the podcast, so I'm going to try and continue to put these out, but we might have a little bit of a different schedule happening for a little while once we get settled. But I'll talk to you guys soon. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks so much for listening to the show today. If you're curious how you can create more white space while scaling your business, check out the show notes to learn more about our signature program, Smarter Not Harder, 3-Day Workweeks for Millennial Entrepreneurs. Make sure to rate and review the podcast wherever you're listening, and we'll see you on the next episode.